What's going on YouTube? So the Toyota Prius has always been known as one of the most efficient vehicles on the road. However, we're with the version that steps things up even further, the all-new Prius Prime.
And we want to know, with 44 miles of pure electric range, is this the Prius to buy?
Let's go ahead and find out right now. Now, like always, let's get started here with our spec dump. So the Prius Prime, of course, is going to be different from the standard Prius and different from the previous generation. So we have a larger 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, a larger 13.6 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery pack, and total system power is going to be 220 horsepower, which is up 99 over the previous generation.
It's going to be routed to the ground via an eCVT. This is going to be front-wheel drive only. And as far as full electric range, we're going to be sitting at 44 miles as a maximum with the SE variants, 39 miles with XSE variants. And as far as the fuel economy on pure gas hybrid configuration, that's going to be 52 miles a gallon combined.
Now, all that makes this the most powerful Prius ever. So we're going to take that on the road, of course, a little later in the video. But first, let's take a look at the exterior design. Now, the old Prius, and especially the Prime version, certainly drew the short end of the stick when it came to Toyota design language. Thankfully, that same thing does not apply to this new generation. You've seen on our channel the new sexy Prius, and the Prime version is pretty much exactly the same. Certainly a good thing. So let's take a look at the design. Of course, very aerodynamic shape, first of all. This does have a 0.27 coefficient of drag, and it does have active grille shutters as well, keeping things very aerodynamic. We also have a dynamic look here. So we've got a thin upper grille, and then we've got a lower fascia here, nicely accented, kind of aggressive looking, with the black around the outside edges. Now, inside of this shape is where you'll see these really unique looking LED headlights. So as you can see, this cluster actually goes all around through here and then goes into the grille. As you can see, it's going to be by LED, and it's standard equipment, including our daytime running light and turn signal indicator. And as we move around to the rear design, that same sleek, sexy design that was just unveiled a few months ago continues with the Prime version. And there is one difference as far as the design, which I'll let Mason talk about.
Yeah, so the one big difference for the Prime, well, big in quotations there, is that you're going to have clear taillight lenses. So you will notice that almost more sporty look than the regular Prius model. And let's go ahead and see if all the elements are LED. So we do have an LED brake light portion, LED reverse light integrated down in the rear bumper, and we do also have an LED amber turn signal indicator. So 3 out of 3 elements are LED. Thank you, Toyota, for making all of those elements LED. That's a nice premium feature that we see on the Prius model. Now, moving on from that, I guess you could say there are 2 changes for Prime Duty. We have Prime text right here, right beside our Beyond Zero badge. Prius is spelled out across the back, and of course, this is a hybrid exclusive vehicle or plug-in hybrid, so you're not going to have exposed exhaust outlets, although this rear diffuser area is pretty aggressive.
Now, it's important to note that the Prius Prime is offered in 3 different trim levels from the regular Prius. It's available in SE, XSE, and XSE premium trim levels. And the main way you're going to be able to tell that this is a Prius Prime is actually here at your wheels. They're different from the standard version. The SE version is going to come with a 17-inch alloy wheel with covers, and then both the XSE versions will come with this really nice looking contrast alloy wheel. It's 19 inches. I love this design. It's very unique and stands out, and especially looks nice with the blacked out wheel arches that all the Prius models will have. Now, as we come up here to the mirrors, these are also going to have that gloss black finish at the top, and you do have standard heating as well as standard blind spot monitoring.
Now, here at the side of the Prius Prime, you're going to notice that same new Prius look that's very spicy, like Carolina Reaper spicy in terms of design. This looks really good. It's a lot lower than the previous generation Prius ever was. It's about 2 inches actually, so it makes even someone of moderate size like myself feel like Shaquille O'Neal. Now, since I'm able to really easily look at the roof, I do want to talk about this. So what you see right here is the full glass roof. Now, Prius Prime actually does have the option of adding solar panels on the roof. Now, Toyota didn't give us exact measurements for how much that would help charge this vehicle's battery pack, but they did say it does help, so I can't see where it hurt anything, and you can option that onto the Prime model. And I do want to point out that your charge port is located on this side of the vehicle. You can charge this Prius Prime on a 240 volt outlet in 4 hours. If you go for a just regular household style outlet, it's going to take about 11 hours to fully charge this vehicle up. And I do want to talk about the safety systems for this Prius Prime. So in typical Toyota fashion, you're going to have Safety Sense 3.0 as standard equipment. Now there is one cool thing that the Prius Prime offers that is not available on the regular Prius, and that's a traffic jam assist function. But guys, let's go ahead and check out the interior because there are a few details that are different in there, and I want to show you them.
All right, so let's first take a look at the key fob before we get inside. As you might expect, we do have a standard smart entry system. They do have Prius Prime branding on the key fob. Digital key is going to be standard on the XSE Premium version. And you also have a unique locking and unlocking tone. But taking a look inside of the cabin, of course, this new generation of the Prius just came out. We have a brand new design, mostly that carries over for the Prime version. Now, as far as materials and colors, let's start with that. So your SE trim level, that's going to come standard with fabric seating. However, both the XSE trim levels will come with Softex leatherette. We have the black option. There is also a gray option. And as you can see, it does have some cool color contrast elements that run through it. Now, as far as the seat adjustments, manual adjusting on the SE, power adjusting with two-way lumbar support on both the XSE versions. But let's go ahead, climb inside, take a look at the details. So let's start off the interior tour with our overall cabin materials. So starting with the door trim over here, we do have a nicely padded leather area. It is going to be soft touch plastic along all the rest of it. And all 4 of our windows are one touch automatic. Moving to the upper dashboard, this section here is going to be finished in a soft touch plastic. Or actually, this is more of a leatherette material. We have a brown accent that runs through here. And then down at the bottom part, we've got piano black accents, and all of this is going to be a hard touch plastic, but feels nice and solid. And then to fire it up, here's our push button start. Now, like we mentioned in our full review of the Prius a couple months ago, this is a very BZ4X inspired cabin. One of the most distinct elements of that model is the fact that we've got this unique gauge cluster arrangement. So this is kind of like a gauge cluster and a HUD in one because it's way up here. This is about 7 inches, and you've got all your main information, of course, your speed. You also have the ability to see your battery capacity and how much percentage is left, and then your overall fuel range, as you can see right now, is 640 miles, which is pretty crazy. Now, as we come back to the steering wheel, this has a unique design to it. Your buttons are kind of chunky, located right there. The wheel itself is going to be manual tilt and telescoping, and one of the unique things about the Prime is the fact that every single version comes with a heated steering wheel. Now let's go on and move on to interior storage. Taking a look at our center console here, nice and wide. It is a little shallow, but we've got a nice felt lining down at the bottom. We also have 2 USB-C ports. This slot right here is your wireless phone charging pad. This is included on the XSE and XSE Premium. We've got 2 nice cup holders. We have this nice storage area, 2 USB-C ports, and then boom, pull that out of the way and we have our hashtag hidden storage compartment down there for some additional places to stick things. Now, one of the ways we are saving space in the Prius for all this storage is because we have a small and compact electronic shifter. This is the new version. You push to the left, pull back for drive, bump back again. That's going to let you adjust the regen to be more powerful. Press up, that's going to go into reverse. And this is what our standard backup camera is going to look like. As you can see, resolution is not fantastic, and we don't have active trajectory. But if you go for an optional package on the XSE Premium, that's going to get you the 360-degree surround view camera, and it will also get you automatic parallel and perpendicular parking, just like on a Lexus product. And then for park, just press the P right there. You do have an electronic parking brake located behind that. Right in the same area is your 2 buttons, which are going to be able to lock you into an engine or engine only or EV power only. Let's continue up the dash. Next place is our climate control system. This is a single zone automatic climate control setup. Nice and easy to adjust. You just have physical buttons all through there. You'll also find 3-stage heated seats. That's going to be included on the XSE trim level and above. And then if you want seat ventilation though, you can get that. You just have to choose the XSE premium trim level. And then rising on up a little bit higher, we come to our large display. So as you can see, this is a big boy. This is a 12.3-inch display. You're going to have a standard 8-inch display on the Prius Prime for both the SE and the XSE, but we have this as an option, and it is standard on the XSE premium version. Now, as far as the features of this system, as you can see, built-in navigation. This is the new version of Toyota's infotainment system, so it's the multimedia system. And we also have wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. Now, in terms of audio systems, we have a 6-speaker sound system on board. You can get an available JBL. We don't have it on today's example, and due to some technological difficulties, I'm not going to be able to give you guys a sample of this bass-sounding sound system. Moving up to the mirror, we do have an auto-dimming one with 3 home-link universal remotes here on the XSE. If you choose the XSE Premium, though, this will turn into a digital rear camera mirror if you get that optional package. We do have LED lighting, of course, and then one of my favorite things about this interior is the fact that we have this dual-panel panoramic sunroof. It is a fixed glass setup, but allow Mason to open up that back portion there. As you can see, it really makes for a nice open and airy feel. It is an available option here on the XSE, and it is standard on the XSE Premium.
Well, come on back here and join me in the Prius Prime's rear seat. Now, as far as just overall space, let's go ahead and talk about that first. We're looking at 34.8 inches of legroom, a little over 36 inches of headroom. So as far as for someone of my size, it's perfectly fine. I'm 5'9". I have a couple inches of headroom to spare. As far as the legroom, still pretty good amount of space. I did bring my flex ruler, and with the seat adjusted to Drew, I'm looking at about 7 inches of space between my knees and the seat. This seat is adjusted to Drew, who's 5'8". Now, I cannot get my feet up underneath of the seat, so do keep that in mind. And as far as other features are concerned, no vents back here. We do have 2 USB ports though, and we also have a household style outlet, which is really quite nice. You can also get heated rear seats optional on the XSE Premium trim level. Now, here in the center, we do have a nice fold down armrest. And checking out our door trim, it's going to be hard touch on pretty much all of it, besides for the armrest portion, which does have a nice leatherette. We do also have bottle storage down in the very bottom. Now, walking up to the rear area of this Prius, you probably might realize that it's a hatchback. So when we open this up, you will notice a good amount of space. It's a little over 20 cubic feet, 20.3 to be exact. And that's actually going to be for both the regular Prius model as well as this Prime. So the Prime does not cost you any additional cargo capacity, which is certainly very nice. Now that I've got the cargo cover out of the way, I can demonstrate by folding the rear seats. Once I do that, you're going to have a good amount of space. Now, Toyota hasn't provided us with the exact measurement of this. The previous generation was about 50 cubic feet. I would say you're going to be looking at a little bit less because this one's a lot more swoopy than the previous generation. I did bring my tape measure, and we're looking at about 69 inches. It's a nice measurement choice there of space between the front seat back and the rear of the cargo area. Just do keep in mind it's pretty short, so you're not going to be able to stack anything high in this Prius's rear area. And one last thing that I want to show you, we do have a household style outlet here on the left side. And then underneath of the cargo floor, you're going to be able to conveniently store your charge cable. The time has finally come for us to be behind the wheel of the fastest Prius ever. It goes 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds, which is really quite quick.
Don't spoil the surprise.
But I'm definitely excited to get behind the wheel and finally show you guys what this Prius is like. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things in this test drive, including also getting our signature Car Confections sound level reading. So let's go ahead and start with that hard acceleration.
Okay.
A little sample of it.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna do a full 0 to 60 here once we turn onto the highway, but there's a little preview.
Not bad.
Definitely feels quick.
Yeah.
You know, Prius, of course. Is there any car more known for being slow than the Prius?
No.
I mean, memes upon memes and all types of things. Like, just known for being just ridiculously slow. And the new generation with the regular version, of course, is quite a bit quicker, but the Prius Prime here is going to be your fastest version. Mason already said, you know, your 0 to 60 is actually going to be under 7 seconds, 6.6 seconds. As far as what makes up the hybrid system, like we had kind of previewed with the spec dump, you're looking at a larger 2-liter 4-cylinder kind of forming the foundation, and then you're pairing that with a larger battery pack and larger electric motor. So obviously you are going to have more power overall, 220 total system horsepower, which is 99 more than the previous generation. So if you actually have the previous generation Prime, I imagine you're really going to be able to tell a difference.
This is a whole new beast compared to the previous generation.
See a lot of in California. We've already passed by like 3 Prius Primes since we started this test drive.
We had to slow it down. We were about to pass someone on the on-ramp in a Prius.
In the Prius. What the heck?
Really impressive. I will give it. Like, we're being surrounded by current-gen Prius models. It would leave every other previous Prius in the dust. I mean, it really feels
the
good.
passing power, even once we're underway, is really quite strong. You know, it feels good, though, that we're talking about a powertrain that really kind of fits with the styling of this. You know, you've got the new sexy body style, looks sleek, looks sporty, and now we have power that matches with that.
And we are at a press event in California driving this Prius Prime, so unfortunately we're not back at our home roads of Kentucky, but I will go ahead and get a sound level reading going 55. As a Cummins diesel semi-truck passes us. Looks like we're sitting at 63 decibels. Is our official reading here in California. Now do keep in mind this is a rough road. It's also a super busy freeway, so our home rating back home will be quite a bit lower than that.
Definitely a lot lower. You know, we spent time with the traditional hybrid version of the Prius, and we drove that around more extensively just because of the layout of the press event, and that one was pretty quiet. There's no reason to think there's going to be any difference here with the Prime, except for the fact that, of course, your engine is not going to be running quite a lot, so that's actually going to make it quieter.
And I do want to talk about your ride quality for this Prius Prime, because just cruising down on the highway, I think that's a really good place to talk about it. The seats are incredibly comfortable. They feel almost molded to my body. And the ride quality just in general, it soaks up the bumps really well. We do have pretty large wheels, 19 inches on this XSE trim level, and I have no complaints when it comes to ride quality. It feels Camry-esque. This is too fun for the Prius.
I know. So this is the automatic mode is what we're in right now. So essentially that's, you know, choosing to use energy the most efficient way possible. So when you're flooring it, going up on the highway, it did have the engine on just then because that's gonna, you know, use gasoline and then you'll save your battery capacity for in town, but we have control over that. So what we can do is we can press the button here and we can lock it into just EV power, or you can lock it into just the engine power for, like I said, saving your battery capacity later on. Let's try out actually just the EV power. Mason, why don't you go ahead and cycle us to
EV mode.
EV mode, yes. So this will kind of demonstrate now how quiet it is in here. the feel of just being under EV power, because of course, you know, with up to 44 miles of pure electric range, you have a lot more range than the last generation, which I believe was 25 miles. So
76% more.
Yeah, there you
actually.
go.
So
a lot more.
Very impressive. Now, I do want to put a little asterisk here. The model we're in today is the XSE. Those models are rated at 39 miles of EV range. So it's a little bit less because you do have the bigger wheels instead of the covered wheels.
Still, though, that's going to cover pretty much everybody's usual commute, if we're talking averages here.
Wow.
Okay.
This is all in full EV.
Yeah, that's just using the electric power by itself.
Nice.
That feels good. That feels really good. Yeah, so you'll be able to utilize that, you know, really exclusively. You won't feel like you need to turn the gas engine on, and you can hopefully make your daily commute completely, come back home, and charge it up again.
Yeah, honestly, the EV mode, I think, would smoke previous generations of the Prius.
I
just
agree.
the EV mode.
Yeah.
Now, if you do happen to run out of charge, you might be curious as to what the fuel economy is operating as a hybrid. It's going to be 52 if you go for the SE trim level. XSEs are going to knock that down to 48 miles a gallon combined, which is still really exceptionally good fuel economy, even if you don't even charge it or whatnot, or you're driving cross country and use up the full 40 miles.
Now, at the end of the day, it's not a big focus of this vehicle, but it is a sportier type of Prius than before, and that does reflect in the way this drives. So this overall chassis is stiffer. The handling is pretty decent.
Yeah. I was impressed.
Yeah, body control is quite nice. You know, they really keep the body roll under control, and the steering is quite responsive. There's just a tiny little bit of dead space right here at the front end, and then after that, though, it's really sharp, really crisp. You get that immediate response that you like.
You know what? Let's get a sound level reading going 55 on this stretch of road in EV mode. That's more like it. 57.5 decibels.
Okay.
Is that sound level reading. So I think that's a more accurate reading. This road is definitely a lot fresher paved, and it's not as loud as on the interstate what we were getting before. So that's probably very similar to what we would get in Kentucky. And 57.5 decibels is a very solid reading for any type of mainstream product. They're 60.
So let's see, under EV power, I'm going to use my experience behind the wheel of other cars. What do you think, Mason? About 10 seconds, 0 to 60?
Probably 10 and a half.
Okay, yeah.
Now we do want to do one of our other Car Confections signature elements, which is our airball and slam dunk, our favorite element and our least favorite element. I think it just has to be hands down the all-electric range that this Prime model offers, as well as the performance enhancements that this Prime offers. Not only is this the most efficient model, especially when you factor in that you can go up to 44 miles on a single charge, it also is the most powerful one. So it makes the driving experience just so much better than the regular Prius model. So I honestly, I really love this powertrain setup.
Now for the airball side of things, this honestly is something Toyota really doesn't have a lot of control over, but it is still disappointing, the fact that this would no longer qualify under the current U.S. tax law to get that $7,500 rebate.
And it does cost, you'll see in just a second, the pricing section, it does cost a pretty good amount more than the regular Prius models, so that $7,500 would have really helped push it over the edge.
That's right.
By far the best Prius to buy.
Because if I'm not mistaken, with the previous generation, once you factored in getting the $7,500 tax credit, the prices were pretty similar to each other, and this time there's going to be a lot more of a discrepancy.
And lastly here, I do want to talk about your warranty information for the Prius Prime. It's going to be protected by Toyota's signature warranty, which is 3-year 36,000 miles for your basic, 5-year 60,000 miles for your powertrain, and 2 years of complimentary maintenance. And now let's go ahead and talk about the pricing of this Prius Prime. So we're going to start at $32,350 for the base SE trim level. Now XSE is going to start at $35,600, XSE Premium $39,170. Now if you're curious as to how much more of a price premium that is over the regular Prius model, it's going to be about $4,000 to $5,000 more on equivalent ish trim levels. Now, as far as this particular model is equipped, we do have the XSE, we have optional paint color, the optional display, as well as the destination. We're looking at $37,855. And do keep in mind that this Prius Prime is currently not eligible for the federal tax credit because it's not manufactured in North America, which is a little bit disappointing. But guys, that's going to wrap up our in-depth review of the all-new 2023 Toyota Prius Prime XSE. If you're looking to get your hands on one of these Prius Prime models, you can expect it to hit dealership showrooms this May. So it won't be too much longer, just a few more months to wait on this. And if you enjoyed watching our review or found it helpful in your purchasing decision, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps us out. It helps us get invited to events like this where we're able to show you guys some of the newest cars first. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.